Hi, this is Brass Check, and we're recording this on Thursday, April 7th, 2022. I don't know when you're going to get this. This is Megyn Kelly, from a very recent broadcast, 2022, talking about Fauci's compensation and talking about the fact that Fauci's wife is the head of ethics for the National Institute of Health. This is 2022, right? That's when we're recording this. Guys, we reported this to you in the summer of 2020. Nearly 2 years ago. And it's finally breakthrough, amazing, never before seen, independent investigative journalism. What's going on? Anyway, here's the clip.
We unearthed a memo. It was back in 2004 that is evidence of all of this. And it's a memo that spells out a permanent pay adjustment. It's why Fauci's the top paid federal employee, out earning the president, four-star generals in the United States military, and all 4.3 million of his colleagues. This memo gave what's considered a permanent bonus, a permanent pay adjustment to Dr. Fauci, expressly because of his work on biodefense. Megyn, in other words, Fauci was paid to stop the next pandemic through research, through defense, and obviously the pandemic happened, and so through his response. And so all of this needs to be debated as to whether Fauci actually failed on all 3 points.
Mm-hmm. Right. We're entitled to know. It's like somebody who works for me on my team saying, "Oh, you forgot what you pay me?" Well, I'm not telling you. Well, guess what? I'm entitled to that information. I'm Fauci's boss. So are you. So are all of our listeners. So we get to know what we're paying him. You did find that out. Let's just start with, because you say he's the highest paid federal employee, more than you sent out a tweet or something that really brought it home. You're like, how does Fauci, who works for a sub-agency of a sub-agency, make more than the head of the entire agency? Never mind the president above him. He makes more than his boss's boss, his boss's boss's boss, all of them. So give us some of the numbers.
Yeah, he makes about 2.5 times what the Secretary of Health and Human Services makes, and that's a cabinet level position, Megyn. Okay, so here's what the record shows. Here are the facts on the Fauci household compensation. Number one, Dr. Fauci out-earns the president and makes, in 2021, $456,000 a year. Number two, Mrs. Fauci, Christine Grady, many people don't know she's actually the chief bioethicist at Fauci's employer, the National Institutes of Health. And Christine Grady out-earns the vice president of the United States at $236,000 per year. Here's the third thing we found. We estimated that when Dr. Fauci retires, he'll retire on the largest golden parachute retirement pension ever in U.S. federal government history. In his first year, he'll retire on $355,000 a year. Now, here's the point. Everything that I just talked about, we received none of it from Fauci's employer over at the National Institutes of Health. We had to file Freedom of Information Act requests with other federal agencies just to get how much Dr. Fauci and his wife make. If it was up to NIH, we wouldn't even know how much he makes.
And it's so crazy to see him get so indignant in response to the questions from the senator saying, like, give me the information. Him being like, it's public information. You don't know what you're talking. It's the same exact thing he did to Rand Paul. Identical. Just obfuscation, indignation, but no information. At least none that's correct.
Well, that's a fair characterization. This is what we didn't know. At the time of that hearing, this is what we didn't know. We didn't have his ethics and financial disclosures on an unredacted, non-redacted, non-blanked out basis from 2019 and 2020, and it was federal fiscal year 2022. We didn't know his stock and bond trades during the pandemic or currently. We didn't have a copy of his job description, just a basic public document. We didn't have copies of his contract with all amendments, additions, and modifications. We don't know if he has a hush agreement, Megyn. So he's done all this media, and we don't know what he can't talk about if he's got a non-disclosure agreement. We didn't know if he was getting royalties. Now, only a small portion of this we know to this day. Most of it is still hidden over at the National Institutes of Health because we requested this. We're suing on this. They admit they're holding 1,200 pages subject to our request. They haven't produced it. And so right here, I so appreciate your platform. We want to issue the transparency clarion call to the National Institutes of Health. Dr. Fauci says that his financial information is public knowledge. It's not. You're holding it. You're being sued for it. So release it to the American people.
Brass Check TV, free to you, not free to us. We've got a server bill, we've got an email software bill, we've got a tech helper bill, and that happens every month. So to everybody that is supporting us financially, that's paying for their subscription in one way or another, we really appreciate it. If you're not, consider doing so. Everybody's got money for the newspaper and the cable bill and all that. Do you have money for media that's actually serving you? That's really the issue here. And when you help us, it allows us to get this information out to the world. So thanks to all our supporters, and if you're not a supporter already, please consider becoming one.